Hi, I'm Shreya,
Hi, I'm Priya.
and together we bring to you Wow Weaves, a series of conversations around weaves and specifically saris. Priya will tell us more.
No, it is the common passion that we all have for saris, which kind of put us on this track of let's try and collect more info. Let us learn and let us share what we learn to with our friends, and and that's how this is started now. So we hope to bring to you every week on different weaves um, from different parts of our country which is so rich in the traditional heritage views and history. I was just reading, Shreya, that our handloom industry, not we wouldn't call it an industry, our handloom history is as old as humanity itself. So that's something we have to be proud of. So today we're talking about handlooms. Why particularly handlooms, Shreya?
So this sparked off from a conversation that we recently did with Mr. Prasanna Hegodu from the Desi Trust, who spoke to us about the story of handlooms and how the weaves are and what weaves are there in our country and how each uh, place in our country has a different weave associated to it and has a different kind of story associated to it. Now, like you said, Priya, the rich legacy and culture that these weaves come with, the fact that all of us as Wow women have been wearing these saris for the last so many years, every time we meet, I think it's only good now that we start this journey of introducing each other to what these saris are, what are handlooms. And I think it's amazing to look and start from the story of the handloom itself. So, when you look at a handloom weave, you know a little more about this than I do. There is something called the warp and the weft. So there are horizontal and longitudinal lines, and they interweave together. That's why it's called a weave. They interlink. So if you lift up any handloom sari and if you look at it, you will see an interconnected weave, which is like a crisscross. So that's a handloom sari. Priya, you tell us a little bit more about the warp and the weft because you know more about this.
No. So weft is from left, and that's how you recognize which is the weft and which is the warp. I think we're starting this on a good time because August 7th is National Handloom Day, which has been celebrated from 2015 onwards, brought about to standardize our weaving and design sector. It is, I think, after agriculture, um, handloom weaving is a stands second in shaping the economy of our country. Unfortunately, the weavers don't get the kind of respect they should or the monetary benefits, and so we see it dwindling down and the new generation preferring to opt for other jobs which is less time consuming, and you get paid more for it. um, what are the few weaves that you can think of, Shreya? What that comes into your mind now?
To me, I love the ikats. I'm a huge fan of the ikats. I'm a fan of ajraks. I like anything handloom from the point of view of cottons mostly, but of course there are silk and cotton handlooms. And for me, when I think of weaves, the ikat comes first. Then I have the ajrak. Then I love the Dhakai Jamdanis and the Bengali Taj. So some of those. And then if you ask me about the ikat silks, then of course there's the patola. So that is again a beautiful history and culture and richness associated to it. So these are some of
Ikats
the
come
weaves that
from
come
many
to mind.
places. When you talk about ikats come from Gujarat, they come from Odisha, and from Andhra slash Telangana. Um, and of course, your Patan Patola, the queen of the saris. Yes, that's from Gujarat, of course. And we have Kanjivaram as an equivalent in the south. I think we should start ours with a Kanjivaram. What do you say, Shreya?
Yeah,
Right?
so a Kanjivaram sari is something that is coveted by everybody, especially if you're Indian. Even if you're a North Indian bride, you always want one Kanjivaram as part of your trousseau, and you always want to own at least one Kanjivaram, I think. And in the South India, of course, every family and every household has Kanjivarams, which they pile up for every occasion. So I think yes, we should start with a Kanjivaram. And that's a weave that is so rich again in its history, and the kind of new designs that have come into the whole Kanjivaram space. The old traditional designs, is so much plethora of information around the Kanjivaram. So we'll do that for sure. We'll start with the Kanjivarams, but tell me about some of the favorite weaves that come to your mind.
You know, some of the good side of media, I would say. My knowledge on this has really increased reading about. There are such wonderful Instagrammers who share their knowledge of this and get us interested in it. Like, I think most of us used to pick up a sari saying, does it look good? Is it good for the pocket? Without understanding what goes into making of such a, an authentic Kanjivaram, what all is in it, or how many days of labor is it, and the art. We appreciate a painting, and sari is painting in weave, because unlike a power loom, the weaver always adds an element, his artistic talents into this, and no two pieces are alike. um, so I do think that we should increase our awareness of this and share it with people. And it is interesting that when you talk to others, you realize it's not that they don't want to know about it, but they just don't know about it, and nobody talks about it. Oh, nice sari, that's it. What sari is it, and from where, what culture does it represent, or what story does it tell? And that's it. Why don't you think so? Why do you think we have to? There are so many people who are working towards reviving this industry. It's because of this. One, to bring up the economy. Two, it is to preserve our heritage. Um, Three, it is eco-friendly. Most of these things that are used in handloom, including the dyes, um, they're so eco-friendly, unlike the synthetic stuff that comes out in its mass production versus unique stuff, right? So the more we learn to appreciate this, it's better. Wouldn't you say that?
Absolutely agree, because you see, handloom weaves are sustainable, because all of this hashtag vocal for local and all of it comes so beautifully together. The World Handloom Day, like you said, launched also the hashtag I wear handloom, and promoted handlooms as the go-to fabric. Handlooms are not only good for you, but they're also good for the planet, because you're not only economically supporting and helping a weaver community, but you're also sourcing things that are made by hand. And anything that is made by hand is always far more sustainable from a planet point of view. But of course, like we were saying, there are the handlooms and then there are the power looms, which is why there is a difference in price. I don't know how well I can tell a handloom from a power loom, but I know that there are hacks and tips and tricks. So Priya, can you tell us a little bit about how can you tell a handloom versus a power loom sari?
I'm still learning this, but I would say that it can't be flawless. It's like the photos that we would see on our social media. If it's flawless, it's been tampered with. It's not the real stuff, right? So that way, and some of them have do come with these tags now. When authentic handloom tags, it's a big vast field in an industry where, or I would say, mm, the cooperative societies, they're all working towards standardizing it, so it's easier, for a layman to kind of figure out what is authentic and what is not. Can be 100% handloom. There are sometimes that the yarn might not be, but the weaving might be. Sometimes it's hand spun, hand woven, and then the dyes could be synthetic. So how can we differentiate between all this? We will learn along as we read and talk to more people who know more about this. Shreya, I'm sure we'll come out better.
Yeah. So when you talk about handlooms and powerlooms, there are obviously people who, get saris from both, and I think there is, and they coexist fairly comfortably. But having spoken about handlooms and the richness of the heritage and how it's sustainable and all of that, I think the other thing about handlooms is the fact that you can own a piece of your own culture and your own history. Like for me, the kasavu comes to my mind because the Kerala kasavu with the white and the gold, which is such a authentically South Indian, the Mallu sari concept, which everybody understands it like. And then there's, Telangana and Andhra with all of these interesting kalamkaris and weaves. So I remember we were talking about what is hand woven and what is handwork. The hand loom versus handwork. So what are the difference between the two? Because I know some of them are,
No.
work
You're saying
done
about
by hand.
the weave. Some of the weaves are, and some are famous for the weaves, and some are famous for the work, like a chicken curry work, or an ari work, or a kasoti work. There are. So we will try and gather. I don't know whether we should go state-wise or we'll just go by work-wise. We'll do that. So it's when you try to collect info on this, you're like, okay, I know a drop about this ocean. There's so
But
much in it.
the good news is we have some sari experts who are a one call away, who have been roped into this very sneakily to help us through this journey of learning, understanding handlooms and saris. And having said that, remember that handloom saris can be cotton silk or cotton silk, which is cotton and silk, one yarn cotton, one yarn silk. So there are multiple things to this. There's the textile, there's the fabric, there's the work that goes into it, the kind of loom that is. And did you know that there are bacheri looms, which were, because in the older days, little girls also would wear only saris in India. So there would be the miniature looms called the bacheri looms, which would weave saris in a length that little girls could wear, which they're also reviving right now, which I didn't know. I also just read up about it, and I think that brings such a cute vision of this heritage, which spins deeper and deeper, and a handloom is heritage, it's a hand me down, it's something, it's like an heirloom. A handloom never goes out of style. I can't think of any handloom which says, oh, this is not in trend now. I think that's
No,
the
but
versatility.
yeah, and it's also now this way of wearing a sari with a modern twist is encouraging more people to wear it. But I'm sure that in your workforce you would be hardly seeing a few who wear sari as much as you do, right?
That's true. That's true. Because I think somewhere people connect the sari to a garment which is not very comfortable to do everything that you want to do. But I think that's just a perception, because
Absolutely.
I've been wearing saris to work since the time I was 21, since the time I started working. And trust me, you can do anything in a sari. And when I say that, I mean anything in a sari.
True that. So great, dear wow friends. We will definitely work on getting putting together these info so that it's easier for us to learn and remember as we pick each sari up.
Yes, and as we enjoy each other's saris, like Priya's beautiful tassa and my Bhagalpuri. So today we wrap up our session 1 on Wow Weaves. Look forward to us every Wednesday as we bring to you a sari snippet. Both of us, Priya and I, learners and friends sitting across the table from each other, talking about something very close to our hearts, the saris and more. Wow Weaves, ladies, look forward to this with you. Priya.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.